Sorry, let me get out on this. Does your room take pride and pleasure in the idea that Chase is the nation's leading rusher? And is that something you feel like is part of your room's responsibility?
Yeah, of course they take pride in that, right? The whole team takes pride in that, and the O-line paves the way, right? And Chase is a tremendous back, but we put a lot of emphasis on running the football, and especially in our room. So we do take a lot of pride in that, and that's a feather in our cap, so to speak. But we're nowhere near where we want to be, and Chase isn't either, and our focus has got to win the game. Chattanooga did a great job at trying to take the run away, but we were able to utilize some other weapons, right? And so that's kind of what you're seeing with our offense is the ability to when teams try to take one thing away, we have the ability to execute and go do some other stuff. So, but yeah, we take a tremendous amount of pride in that.
Along those lines, Coach, seems like some of the gap plays on the inside got stuffed a little bit against Chattanooga. Was that their scheming, or was it something you saw from your guys?
Yeah, they tried to take that away, right? They took the counters away, and they did some of that stuff. And there's things that every team can do, and then when they do that, though, they're susceptible to the pass plays, right, or to the ability to spit the ball out. You saw the very first play, we knew that safety was going to run down, or not the very first play, but one of the first drives, we knew that safety was going to be down in the box, and that's when Pat Bryant hit that slant, right, to the boundary, and then we did that a bunch because that was how they were going to stop the run, and we knew that. We can't block them. We can't block all 11, so we got to be able to do some of those things, and this year we have that capability, which has made our offense very exciting.
What's key for the communication that your line needs in this environment in Madison?
Well, we got to be focused. We got to be attentive to the details, right? And Coach always talks about being a maniac for the details. We have to be very aware, very, very concentrated on our communication up front, our calls, recognizing some of the things that they're going to do, and then we've got to be able to, regain our composure, keep our composure, right? It's going to be a loud environment. It's going to be an intense environment. Big Ten game. Both teams, trying to get back, even in conference play, and they're going to come ready to go, and the crowd's going to be into it, and there's obviously a lot of good atmosphere up there, and so we have to be able to handle that situation and not run our stuff. We got to be able to run our stuff, not lose our composure, and because they're going to make plays, and we got to be able to keep fighting. But communication's key; it's critical.
Where do you see the development of your group just as a whole, and in year two, or year one for some of these guys, but just as that group has come together?
Yeah, I think the mentality and the way they practice and how hard they play. I think that is probably the biggest foundation that we've laid. Right, I don't have to coach that, that's the expectation, which has been good. I'm not happy yet with our techniques. I'm not happy with kind of. I shouldn't say I'm not happy. I'm not satisfied with what we're doing, right? We can continue to get better. We've got a lot of talented guys, and gelling the chemistry is getting better, but, there's, like everybody says, like the communication, right, is continuing to pick up. Now, the last couple of weeks, we started the season, we had quite a few mental errors in terms of my standard, right? Quite a few mental errors, and those have gotten less and less as the year's gone along, so that's been good, right? I think we had 4 against West Virginia, and only 3 against Chattanooga, right? So in a 90-play game, that's pretty good. Now we have to eliminate those, but that's down from, the 10 or whatever we had against Wyoming, right? So that part is being cleaned up. I'm pleased with that, the assignment part of it, and we just have to continue to get better from a fundamental standpoint. And that will probably be my answer for my entire career here at Illinois. So you'll never be satisfied. We're going to keep getting better and better.
When you get a job like this, do you set like landmarks for what you want to see in terms of that process, and have you hit some?
Yeah, we set goals. You set goals, and they have to be attainable goals, right? And last year was very foundational in laying some of those things, mostly how you practice, how you play, the expectation, right? And obviously you saw the result in terms of running the football last year, and then that led to 2 guys getting drafted. I think that just bodes well with the room. This year we have the leading rusher in the nation right now through 5 games, and the guys are playing. Some guys are playing very well. We've had a few injuries. We had a few guys kind of derail some momentum early on, but now they're getting back into the swing of it right as we hit conference play, which is exciting. So I think you set these benchmarks, you set goals for your unit, for your team, and you continue to strive for that, but also continue to build that continuity, build that expectation, and that style of play, and that's what we're constantly evolving to.
You added the 5 freshmen in this class, and
Yeah, eight new guys, I think, last in spring ball.
with the freshmen, I know, they've played a few snaps at the end of a couple games, but that might be as much as they do. Is that like the ideal? Just that.
Well, no, ideal would be to give them in every game because we're winning, a big. But it was good that they got a couple reps, in live game situations. That 4-game rule is fantastic for us to be able to develop guys. But they're getting reps in practice. Bye week they get a lot. And there's a tremendous amount of learning that goes in that first year, right? That rookie year, there's a tremendous amount of learning that goes into not only how to be a college football player, but then how to train, the expectation of practice, right? And like pretty soon here in October, most of these guys in their high school years would be done, right? Unless you're making the playoffs and you make a deep run into November. But we'll play all the way up through December, ideally, and hopefully if we get a chance to go to a bowl or earn a chance to go to a bowl, we'll play, late December, January, whatever, and that's a lot of football for a kid that's never gone past October, right? Especially in this type of grind. So they got to learn how to do all that, and then their bodies transform, right? They learn how to be student athletes at the collegiate level, and there's a big transformation. There's a big growth that comes when they come back in January, and now they're more they're more veteran-like at that point. So that's a big step in the development of some of these young guys.
Wisconsin's got some pretty talented edge rushers. Is
They
it how much of a challenge is that for Alex and for Julian Pearl on the other side? And is it a point of emphasis for you in practice?
Yeah, it's a tremendous challenge. Those guys are really good players, right? The whole defense is stout. They're fast. They're strong, right? I mean, you watch that game against Ohio State. Obviously, things got out of hand a little bit, but the talent is there. I mean, you see Benton throwing guys around. Herberg's up the field on guys. I mean, the talent is there, and I played that game against us last year over and over and over as a sense of motivation and kind of what to expect. They're going to watch that too, and see Palcho, and they're going to see Julian, and they're going to see the same guys, and they're going to come test to see how much better they've gotten, right? And so it's been a big point of emphasis, right? And especially in those situations, we got to stay out of those third and long, extra long situations that we got ourselves in last year, right? Because we didn't play very well up front on early downs. So it is a big emphasis, yes.
Does that change anything you do as far as your pass pro? I mean, I'm not asking you to draw up a diagram for me or anything, but do you change things from game to game?
From game to game, it depends on the scheme and the system that we're playing and how we feel about the certain matchups and things like that. But we'll have a third down plan in order. We'll have a early down plan in order, and we'll be able to hopefully go execute that against a very, very good defensive front.
Word is from one of your players yesterday that you're particularly adept at inspiring speeches and motivational things. Is that something you consider a strength of yours?
Well, I'm glad they said that. I hope they're motivated. I hope they're inspired by that. I take that as kind of a challenge, and part of my job as a coach is to inspire them to be great. And I do take pride in that. I don't necessarily sit there and plan whatever speech it's going to be. Some of it's off the cuff. Some of it is a little bit more concentrated and focused and thought out. Depends on probably the situation and when you catch me at practice or pregame, or if my parents are standing over there, I'm probably going to speak a little bit different. But no, it is. I think they got to play with an edge. I think they need to be inspired to go do the things that they need to do. And if I have to bring the juice, then I will. Yeah.
From an offensive line perspective,
Sorry.
how has Tommy Davido been to work with? As you guys look at him, how's he been?
Who's that again?
Tommy Davido. How's he been to work with?
He's been fantastic. Tommy gets the ball out really, really fast. I think we saw that in the spring when we were all kind of sitting here watching spring ball and watching him deliver the football and getting the ball. We kind of looked at each other and thought we had certainly a guy that could run our offense. And during the season, he's got a little swagger to him. Guys kind of gravitate towards that, and they like that. He supports them, and guys like blocking for him. So I think that part's been really, really good. Yeah.
You guys have still rotated kind of 6 guys in for 5 spots through these first 5 games. Is that something you're comfortable doing deeper into the season, or would you like to kind of parse that down to just maybe a more consistent 5 though?
Well, it's been just 6, really. And I didn't want to change at Indiana. We kind of had to. With just Julian went down with a lower body injury there right before, but But what it did do is it did allow us to say, okay, if that does happen, we do have this plan, we do have a contingency plan, we know what they can do, and there's versatility there, right? That's the whole point of kind of what we put them through in the training cycle, right? So that they could play different positions. I do want to keep developing that continuity and all that. Coming into the game, right? Zai played the 92 snaps or something against Wyoming. That's too many. Or Indiana, that's too many for both Jordan and Zai, right? That's too many for all those guys, right? So, when you get into a game like that, that's when you start to try to spell guys and make sure, really that either Zai or Jordan or Isaiah is strong, right? And we have his best, right? In that situation. So, and they both played pretty well right there. But it's not. I don't think you're going to see, the plug and play all over the field like you did last year a little bit when you're trying to find that top 5, right? I think we know who our top 6 and 7 are, and those are the guys who are going to play.
With you guys showing more RPO, more draw against Chattanooga, what does that ask of your linemen to kind of be ready for, though?
It helps. It helps us in situations where teams can't just pin their ears back and go. They do have to be able to play for that draw, right? And the screen game and everything else, right? So that's kind of what this offense has done is it's opened up the playbook a little bit to make defenses cover every aspect of the field, and they can't just concentrate on pinning their ears back on a 5-man rush and whatever it is, or 5-man protection and or it's going to be inside zone, right, like it was last year. So you have a little bit more diversity of offense and more diversity in the run game, and I think that has allowed us to, I guess, maybe not see as much exotic stuff as we've seen in the past, but defenses have to cover every weapon we have, and I think it just helps in the run game, helps in the pass game, and helps certainly my guys.
Chase is a pretty good cutback runner. Are you seeing the movement up front that you want to see to get him those lanes to cut back?
Yeah, we are. There's some times where I want more, and there's some times where it's there, and we throw the ball because the throw is there too. So that's part of the offense. That's part of living in that world, But you're starting to see some good things open up, and Chase obviously makes a lot of guys miss, but Chase has had some good holes to run to as well, and we're pleased with I guess where the run game is, but we're not satisfied with where we could be, right? I mean, we got to keep going and getting better because teams are going to, like you saw, Chattanooga going to try to stop it, right? And Wisconsin's going to try to stop it, and Iowa's going to stop it and try to stop it, and so you have all that. You have all those defenses that are going to cue in onto that, but then we have the ability to spit the ball out too and throw the ball, and that we didn't have that weapon last year, and that's been a big help for us offensively.
Any changes in that starting 5 up front? Is it going to be the same group? Or?
Should be the same.
Okay.
Without, we're a month in.